Hey, what's up, 745ers? Welcome back, Sky on the Ceiling. How you feeling, Katie?
I'm feeling litty in the city.
Liddy in the city. A lot of legit litness going on today with Katie.
It's been a great day for me.
That's good to hear. I'm feeling pretty pumped too for this episode.
Yeah.
Meet
our first Mike.
Yeah.
His name's Jerry.
This Mike's name is Jerry.
That's my Mike.
Apparently.
What's your Mike? Stink?
No.
Oh, we didn't agree on that? Okay.
No. Katie wants to call my mic Stink because she's insecure about how she smells.
You're the only one between us who can produce smells with theirs. You're the only one who can produce smells.
Well, I think you live in your smell so much that you can't even smell it anymore.
Okay, dog.
But believe me, we can all smell
okay.
it.
Sure. Yeah.
Anyways,
Today's podcast.
On another note,
yes.
Today's podcast is about... Do you want to tell them or do you want me to?
I'll say it.
All right.
Today's podcast is about loneliness and individuality. Well, this podcast started because we were inspired when we were both... Well, it was Valentine's Day, and I was like, yo. But then, okay, somehow this podcast came up. And
this podcast idea, by the way, not the 745.
Yeah, and we were thinking, it's okay to be alone, an individual, and loneliness, and we were thinking, or I was at least thinking about how you always want what you can't have. I want to be alone when I can't be alone, and I want people around me when I can't. The grass is always greener, and it's such a dilemma, but we want to talk about how you can cope with loneliness, when have we been lonely, if we're individualistic people, etc. So, should we get into it?
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay. How do you cope with your loneliness?
How do I cope with my loneliness? Well, first off, for me, there's being alone, and then there's also loneliness. So, loneliness, could be just, when you're by yourself and you're longing to be with other people, or, just a person. But it also could be, you're with other people, but you just don't feel like you're, really understood or, incorporated in it. You can't relate.
Yeah.
Is the thing. You can't relate, or you're not being acknowledged, so you feel secluded and alone. So I think that's what loneliness is, different from being alone. So for me, loneliness, one of the biggest times I can think about was probably last year towards the later half of summer, because I just remember all my friends were gone. And I think that here's the thing with social media. Sorry, it's not a tangent, but bear with me. The thing about social media is it's bringing people together that wouldn't have otherwise. But the thing is, it's replacing our real connections with artificial ones. So a big part about social connection is reading someone and really truly interacting with them, rather than just looking at your phone, right? And so the social media started depleting us of these social interactions, and that's why loneliness has been on the rise again, right? And so so even though I could text and even FaceTime and you can see them face to face, it still wasn't the same as if they were in person. So yeah, definitely summer, especially, it also extra kicked in because the lurking thought of school starting up again, and also the idea of I was really trying to grind. I was really trying to grind school, get a head start on school before school started, but that just never really picked up for me. And so
that's when you were feeling alone.
Yeah, so no, that was when I was feeling lonely.
Okay.
Because lonely could be with a group or without too. Yeah,
loneliness. I recently read a thing on this. You can have a lot of people in your life and have a lot of people just there and still feel lonely, and that's what Zach was talking about with a lack of connection or just a lack of being heard or seen. Is that I could have so many people in my life and just not be fulfilled in that way, and therefore that's why we always say quality over quantity. You would rather have two people in your house with you who are giving you attention and helping you become fulfilled, and like you're doing the same back, rather than having like a rager party at your house and being alone, even though you're not being lonely, even though you're not alone, because you're just not being connected in that way. And I think, well, for personally, I think I feel the most lonely, like it's like exacerbated when I see that other people are not alone. Or not lonely.
That's
like I feel even more, wow, I'm alone right now, when I see so many people unlonely.
You know what's kind of funny is like it's sort oh thank you it's sort of similar with stress. I feel like I've realized, like when I'm stressed and I think about relaxation, or I see other people who are relaxed, I crave it even more. And so it's kind of similar with like loneliness and because I guess our definition of loneliness is like a longing to not be alone.
Yeah.
Or not a longing to be alone, but like the like feeling of like being secluded.
Yeah. I also have like raging FOMO. If you know what that is, it's fear of missing out. Do you have raging FOMO?
Yeah, not raging.
I have
but
raging.
I have a good amount of it.
I have raging FOMO, and so that's why loneliness is like, I think, an even bigger problem, because it just, you feel so, well, I get my energy from being with people. That's what makes an extrovert. Whereas an introvert, you lose energy constantly, or you get energy when you're like alone and you like being, to yourself. And so I think when everyone around me is doing really extroverted things and I'm not feeling that, or I'm not there, I feel especially alone. And so I think you got enough about how when Zach and I have been lonely. How do you combat that?
How do I combat?
Yeah.
So I kind of think about the times where like a lot of times I do like being alone, because I can really like kind of just do my own thing. And even though it is kind of weird, I do kind of like to talk to myself, like in my head or even out loud, put on some fun accents or something. And also I feel like when you're alone, you can really like explore and be your truest self. And I feel like if you're really exploring that, you understand your goals and your values a bit better.
Yeah.
So I kind of take it as an opportunity to do some of these things. And even though like I am aware that other things are going on outside and I long to be like with them or something, or like doing like those things, I also realize that I have plenty of cool stuff in my room that I like to do, like play guitar. I'm trying to get more into drawing or like sketching. I also have a lot more books now to read. And also just like I'm trying to watch less, like, even though like I kind of technically count it as like helping me by like watching like funny videos of like Conan O'Brien or like SNL or stuff like that. I'm like trying to watch less of it because unless I'm taking notes on what they're doing, it's kind of just for my own enjoyment, which is good every now and then. But like sometimes it's you gotta like lock in.
Yeah, I agree. I would say that so I think the first step to that, or what Zach was saying, because I combat it in a similar way, is first step is be grateful and understand that this is like, you'll be busy again soon, probably, and so you should be really like use up this time well. So I wrote down like, I like have a hard time sitting in my own thoughts. When like last year, when I just got out of a relationship, I realized that I have a hard time doing tasks without having audio or entertaining or something going on. I think I talked about this in like our like self-improvement, one of our pods on that, and like how I can't do the laundry without a podcast or a YouTube video or something playing. But I've gotten to the point now where I can just sit in thought while I do these things, and like I've been doing what I shamed Zach for doing, which is like walking without headphones and just thinking. And I think that's a really like important and very nice time to have to yourself. That's so rare with everyone's busy schedules and everyone's running around doing stuff. Also, like finding a balance, I think, also between being lonely and not being lonely is important, because yes, it's good to sit in your own thoughts like I just said, but also sometimes we overthink and we overdo and we go down spirals that we shouldn't have because we're only alone and not getting other people's opinions. So, well, this is just, like, for the thought aspect of it, is that, like, that's how, like, I mean, you can make your own ideology, and that's, like, the point of, like, sinking in your thoughts. But I think without other people's opinions and not being, like, populated with that type of stuff, you tend to go to an extremist or crazy routes. So I just think that it's important to be alone, but it's important also to have community. So I think balance is really important when it comes to loneliness and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a great segue, sort of, because oftentimes I'll socially schedule myself, and it'll absolutely ruin me and my social battery, but it's just because of fear of, like, FOMO, or, like, I think, like, oh, well, I'm gonna be, like, if I don't do it now, I'm losing time, but I'm also, like, realizing now, like, the more you do it, the less special it gets.
Yeah.
So, like, the more you see your friends, you know, the more, like, special it gets, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, to add on to that, a big part of relationships, and a big part of why sometimes relationships don't work, is because that missing you aspect, missing that person aspect, is so important. Like, what do they say? Like, missing someone is how the heart grows fonder, or whatever that saying is. Like, that, like, period of time is so important to, like, realize, because that helps your brain realize, like, that person is so much more important to me than I originally thought. Because when you get excess amounts of things, the value goes down, like the way inflation works. And so when you get so little of it, you tend to, like, you become more grateful for it. So yeah, take that time again for loneliness to realize, like, because you might not get so much alone time, this is the time to use it up and time to reflect. So that's really important. Also, like, people say, like, some of the most dangerous people in this world are people who, like, don't have any alone time. Like, okay, just like we talked about, we had our We Listen, We Don't Judge podcast. The extremists on both ends have their issues, never getting alone time and having only alone time. So I keep going back to the balance thing of having a good amount where your thoughts can be, like, you can hear your own thoughts and be alone in that, but also getting other people's thoughts too.
Nice.
Yeah. Would you say you're an individualistic person? Like, you like to do things alone?
It depends. I actually, okay, so am I an individualistic person? I think typically no. A lot of the sports I do, like, my mind, like, really just went to sports, because even though I technically do an individual sport, it's so team, and I would, like, pretty much dread it if it was just me, if I didn't get to talk to my teammates. Like, cross country is about 100 times harder when you're going on a long run by yourself.
Yeah.
Especially for me, because I don't listen to any music.
Crazy.
Because I'm just, I don't know, I kind of like the mental endurance of it. But at the same time, like, I'm so grateful that, like, and, like, what's so funny is, like, I would probably generally not talk to my teammates if they weren't on the team. But, like, just because we're doing this thing together, we get along so well.
Yeah.
And I'm actually so happy that they're my teammates. And so in that sense, yes. In, like, a work sense, like, getting stuff done, it's typically hard for me to multitask, especially, like, socially and, like, getting work done wise.
Yeah.
So I try and do that typically solo. And then yeah, and so I just try and do that solo. Let's see, what other aspects are there in my life.
You like to eat alone?
Oh, heck no.
Wait, what? You said that yesterday.
That was Nina.
Oh.
Nina likes we
had our GBP event yesterday.
Our Grand People Project,
yes,
yeah.
And we met a woman who likes to eat alone. She does not like to eat with people, and people know that, so they don't eat with her. And you disagreed? I thought you agreed.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Like, for me,
I like to eat with people. I can't eat alone.
I get embarrassed eating alone. Not that there's anything bad against it. Like, if you eat alone, go you. You're brave.
Well, yeah, I think it's important. Like, I see people sometimes go to restaurants and, okay, well, this kind of, it, like, sounds a little sad, but I can see where they're coming from. And they just have a book with them, and they're at a restaurant. And that is, like, no social anxiety. There's people on the internet who do these, like, social anxiety trends where they, like, go shopping alone, watch a movie alone, go to a restaurant and just read a book like alone. And I think those are important things you should be able to do alone. You should be able to do those things alone. Maybe you don't do that all the time, but like getting comfortable with the idea should be something that everyone's capable of. Like recently I went shopping alone once. It was a little bit like insane to go shopping like
shopping
by
one
yourself.
I don't understand, but like the restaurant one, that one's pretty. That's
you don't understand shopping alone?
Yeah, I don't. Like,
you have no issue with that?
No.
Oh, I have an issue. I feel like it's so. Oh, I can't like really picture, but yeah, I think that's really important. I think I'm a very individualistic person. I like to do all my errands alone. I like to not shopping like grocery shopping. I mean like clothes. Oh, you still okay? Well, like grocery shopping, I do alone too, and I find that very therapeutic. Farmers market shopping, I do that alone. So I think it's all about balance, and I think it's all about being grateful for the time you get for both of them.
Yeah, and also another thing is like sometimes, I guess as teenagers especially, we like doing things alone because it means we're becoming more independent.
Yes.
So, the more things we do like independently, the more we like grow up. But at the same time, the more we grow up, the more responsibility we assume, and then we also kind of want to like crawl back to our parents because we're like, I don't want all this responsibility. I'm
exactly.
only
Yeah, so those are just some of our thoughts on loneliness and being alone and being okay, being independent. So go out and be independent.
Be independent.
I dare you to try something to do alone that's like usually like unacceptable to do alone.
Try playing tennis alone.
Okay. You know one other thing? Going to the pool alone is an experience I've never experienced, until recently. But going to the pool alone, have you ever done that? Like alone, like you don't know anyone there, you have no friends, you're just going to swim. I didn't swim alone. I went to tan and do homework alone, but still, it was really do something alone.
Do something alone, guys.
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.